Before any man touches his body, his face, his wardrobe, or his routine, he must first confront something far more important: who he believes he is. Looksmaxing does not begin in the mirror. It begins in the mind. Many men make the mistake of thinking attraction is something you apply from the outside. They chase haircuts, gym plans, and fashion advice without realizing that the most powerful signal of attractiveness is identity. Identity shapes how you stand, how you walk, how you speak, and how you make decisions. Without it, no external upgrade lasts. When a man lacks a clear self-image, every improvement feels fragile. He might get attention after a glow up, but internally he still feels like the same insecure version of himself. That insecurity leaks out in subtle ways: seeking validation, over-explaining, people-pleasing, hesitation. Women don't respond to looks alone, they respond to congruence. They sense when a man's appearance does not match his inner frame. This mismatch creates discomfort, not attraction. Identity is the internal decision that says, "This is the standard I live by." It is choosing to see yourself as disciplined before you are disciplined, as confident before confidence feels natural, as a man of value before the world reflects it back. When that decision is made, your behavior starts aligning automatically. Your posture straightens. Your movements slow down. Your eyes no longer scan for approval. You are no longer performing, you are being. This is why two men can wear the same outfit, have the same physique, and get completely different reactions. One is trying to look confident, the other knows who he is. Women feel that difference immediately. Identity creates presence, and presence cannot be faked for long. Most men reverse the process. They say, "Once I look better, I'll feel confident." But confidence doesn't come from outcomes, it comes from self-trust. And self-trust is built when your actions align with your identity. When you say you are disciplined and you train even when motivation is low. When you say you respect yourself and you walk away from situations that don't honor your standards. Over time, the mind accepts the new identity as truth. Once identity is established, looksmaxing becomes effortless instead of desperate. You no longer chase upgrades for approval. You refine yourself as an extension of who you already are. The gym becomes a place of expression, not punishment. Grooming becomes maintenance, not compensation. Style becomes a signal of self-respect, not a costume. This internal shift also changes how you relate to women. You stop trying to impress and start selecting. You are no longer asking, "Do you like me?" You are quietly asking, "Do you fit into my life?" That reversal is powerful. It creates polarity. It creates desire, and it keeps you grounded no matter the outcome. Identity first looksmaxing also protects you from collapse. When attention increases, many men lose themselves. They become addicted to validation, approval, and external feedback. But a man who is rooted in identity remains stable. Praise doesn't inflate him. Rejection doesn't destroy him. He understands that attraction flows to men who are anchored, not reactive. So before you upgrade your body, upgrade your standards. Before you change your style, change your self-image. Decide who you are becoming and act in alignment with that vision daily. When identity leads, everything else follows naturally. Once identity is set, the body becomes the next honest reflection of discipline. Not as decoration, not as obsession, but as evidence. The male body responds to consistency more than intensity, and this is where most men sabotage themselves. They chase extreme workouts, crash diets, and short-term hacks, hoping to force a transformation fast. But attraction does not grow from desperation. It grows from rhythm, from showing up again and again, even when no one is watching. The body is not just muscle and fat, it is communication. How you move through space tells people how you treat yourself. Slouched shoulders speak of avoidance. Weak eye contact reveals hesitation. Shallow breathing signals anxiety. Before a woman ever evaluates your face or physique, she reads your nervous system. This is why physical training must go beyond aesthetics. Strength training builds more than muscle. It builds groundedness. Cardiovascular conditioning builds stamina, not just in the body, but in the mind. Mobility work creates fluidity, which shows up as calm, controlled movement. Most men train with ego. They want numbers to impress others. But the men who truly glow up train with intention. They understand that a strong body creates internal order. When you lift regularly, Your hormones stabilize, your sleep improves, your stress tolerance increases, your baseline confidence rises, not because you look better, but because you trust yourself more. You kept a promise to yourself. That trust compounds. Nutrition plays the same role. Food is not just fuel, it is discipline on a plate. Men who constantly indulge without control broadcast impulsivity. Men who starve themselves broadcast insecurity. The attractive middle is structure without rigidity. Eating to support training, recovery, and clarity. When your body feels clean and energized, your presence sharpens, your reactions slow, your voice settles. This is subtle, but women feel it instantly. There is also something deeply masculine about restraint, not suppressing desire, but mastering it. Training teaches this. You learn to sit with discomfort. You learn to push without panic. You learn that progress comes from patience, not force. These lessons transfer directly into dating and relationships. A man who can regulate his body can regulate his emotions. A man who can delay gratification in training can delay reaction in conflict. That is strength women trust. Another mistake men make is waiting to feel motivated. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is behavioral. The body doesn't care how you feel, it responds to what you do repeatedly. On days you train without motivation, you are not just building muscle, you are building identity. You are reinforcing the belief, I do what needs to be done. Over time, this becomes visible, not just in your physique, but in your calmness. As the body changes, something interesting happens. You stop trying to prove yourself physically. You don't flex for attention. You don't posture. You don't rush. You occupy space naturally. This is where real attraction begins, when strength no longer needs announcement, when effort becomes quiet. And here's the key most men miss: you don't need perfection. You need progress. A man in motion is more attractive than a man waiting to be finished. Women respond to trajectory. They sense when a man is moving forward with purpose. Even flaws become less important when direction is clear. So train your body not to impress, but to embody discipline. Let your strength show up in your posture, your pace, your breathing. When the body is aligned, the presence speaks before words ever do. After the body begins to change, something subtle but powerful happens. You become visible. And when you are visible, what you wear stops being decoration and starts being a message. Most men misunderstand style because they think it's about fashion, trends, or impressing others. It's not. Style is structure. It's a silent language that communicates self-awareness, social intelligence, and internal order before you ever speak. Clothes don't create confidence, but they reveal it. A man who dresses intentionally is not asking for approval. He is setting a tone. He understands where he is, who he is, and how he wants to be perceived. This is why style is not about owning many outfits. It's about eliminating confusion. When your clothes fit well, match your body, and align with your lifestyle, there is no friction between who you are and how you appear. Fit is everything. A simple outfit that fits your body will always outperform an expensive outfit that doesn't. Proper fit signals competence. It shows that you pay attention, that you don't tolerate excess. Baggy clothes hide the body and suggest uncertainty. Overly tight clothes signal insecurity. The attractive middle is precision, clothes that follow your frame without clinging to it. This balance communicates strength without desperation. Color and simplicity matter more than complexity. Loud patterns, flashy logos in trend, chasing outfits often come from the desire to be noticed. But masculine presence comes from being grounded, not loud. Neutral colors, clean lines, and consistency create a calm visual authority. When a man dresses simply and well, people relax around him. They trust him. Women feel safe and curious, not overwhelmed. Style is also contextual intelligence. Wearing the right thing at the right time shows social awareness. It signals that you can read the room. This matters deeply in attraction because it shows adaptability without losing self. A man who understands context doesn't need to perform. He belongs wherever he is. That sense of belonging is magnetic. Another overlooked aspect of style is maintenance. Clean shoes, pressed clothes, and attention to small details communicate self-respect, not vanity. Respect. It says, I take care of what represents me. This is especially powerful because it's consistent. Anyone can dress well once. Few men do it daily. Consistency is what builds status. There is also discipline hidden in good style, choosing what to wear ahead of time, eliminating excess, owning fewer, better pieces. This mirrors internal order. When your external life is simplified, your mental energy sharpens. You move faster, you decide quicker, you don't second guess. That decisiveness shows up in how you walk, speak, and lead. As your style aligns with your body and behavior, something important happens. You stop thinking about it. You're no longer adjusting, checking, or seeking validation. Your clothes disappear into you. They support your presence instead of competing with it. This is when style stops being effort and becomes identity reinforcement. Women don't fall for outfits. They respond to coherence. When your look, body, and behavior tell the same story, attraction feels natural. There is no contradiction, no confusion, just clarity. And clarity is rare. So don't chase fashion. Build a uniform that reflects discipline, simplicity, and self-knowledge. When style becomes a signal of inner order, you no longer need to prove status. You quietly embody it. Once identity is clear, the body is disciplined, and style is aligned. The face becomes the final amplifier of presence. Not because beauty is everything, but because the face is the first place people look for certainty, and most men misunderstand facial optimization. They think it's about chasing perfection, symmetry, or copying another man's look. That mindset creates insecurity. True facial and grooming optimization is about clarity, structure, and restraint. Your face already communicates before you speak. Tension in the jaw, softness in the eyes, restlessness in expression, these signals are read instantly. The goal is not to manufacture dominance, but to remove noise. To let calm, masculine presence come through without interference. This begins with grooming discipline, not vanity. Hair is one of the most powerful visual levers a man has. A clean, intentional haircut frames the face and signals order. Messy or neglected hair suggests chaos, regardless of how attractive the features underneath may be. The right haircut doesn't follow trends. It follows bone structure, lifestyle, and maintenance ability. Masculine grooming is practical. If you can't maintain it weekly, it's not your style. Facial hair works the same way. A beard can add structure, maturity, and authority, but only if it's controlled. An unmaintained beard communicates avoidance. Over-sculpted beards communicate insecurity. The goal is balance. Clean lines, intentional length, and consistency. When grooming becomes routine, it stops being effort and starts becoming identity reinforcement. Skincare is not about looking young. It's about looking awake. Clear skin reflects health, hydration, and self-regulation. Men often avoid this area because they associate it with vanity. That's a mistake. Healthy skin isn't cosmetic, it's biological. When your skin improves, your face softens without losing strength. Your expression becomes more approachable without losing edge. Women respond strongly to this balance. Then there is facial discipline, the way you hold your face throughout the day. Many men unconsciously clench, frown, or carry tension in their jaw and brow. This creates an anxious or aggressive resting expression. Relaxation is not weakness. A relaxed face signals confidence and emotional control. It tells others you are not reactive. That calm is deeply attractive. Jawline obsession is another trap. Structure comes from posture, breathing, and body fat management, not constant flexing or fixation. When posture improves, the neck lengthens, the head stacks correctly, and the jaw naturally presents itself. Everything connects. This is why Looksmaxing is a system, not a checklist. Eye contact is the final piece. Not staring, not avoidance, stillness. A man who can hold eye contact calmly without rushing or forcing creates psychological grounding. It tells the nervous system of the other person that there is no threat and no need to impress. This quiet certainty is rare, and rarity creates attraction. As facial and grooming optimization aligns with the rest of the system, something important happens. You stop trying to look attractive. You simply look composed. Your face becomes neutral, stable, and expressive only when necessary. This makes moments of emotion more impactful. Smiles feel genuine. Silence feels intentional. The glow up is not about becoming someone else. It's about removing friction so who you are can be seen clearly. When your face reflects discipline instead of tension, presence instead of performance, people feel it immediately. And that feeling lasts longer than any first impression ever could. Once the external work is done, the identity, the body, the style, the grooming, There is a moment where everything either locks in or collapses. That moment is behavior, because no amount of looksmaxing survives weak movement, reactive speech, or indecisive energy. This is where most men fail. They upgrade the surface but keep the same internal patterns, and women feel the mismatch immediately. Behavioral looksmaxing is not about acting alpha or copying confident men. It's about alignment. How you move, how you speak, how you respond under pressure must match the discipline you've built. Attraction accelerates when your nervous system is regulated and your actions are intentional. Calm is the new dominance. Control is the new confidence. Start with movement. A man who rushes everywhere communicates anxiety. Fast, jerky movements signal a nervous system that is always reacting. Slowing down is not laziness, it's authority. When you move with purpose, when you take up space without apology, people subconsciously adjust to you. Women especially feel grounded around men whose movements are controlled. You don't need to be big. You need to be steady. Speech works the same way. Many men talk too much because they fear silence. They explain, justify, overshare. This drains attraction fast. Masculine communication is simple, grounded, and measured. You speak when there is something to say. You pause without discomfort. Your voice stays calm even when emotions rise. This signals emotional leadership, not domination, stability. Leadership is often misunderstood. It's not control over others. It's control over self. When something doesn't go your way, do you react or respond? When challenged, do you escalate or stay centered? Women test emotional stability unconsciously, not to manipulate, but to assess safety. A man who collapses under pressure, argues impulsively, or seeks validation fails that test, not morally, but biologically. Behavioral looksmaxing also shows up in decision-making. Indecision kills attraction because it transfers responsibility. A man who can decide where to go, when to leave, what he wants, and can adjust without drama creates ease. Ease creates trust. Trust creates desire. This doesn't mean being rigid. It means being grounded enough to lead without force. Another key element is emotional containment. This does not mean suppressing feelings. It means not leaking them everywhere. A man who vents constantly, complains, or seeks reassurance places emotional weight on others. That weight feels heavy. Masculine presence feels light. Even when serious, you process internally first. You speak when clarity is reached, not while chaos is happening. Eye contact, posture, and breathing tie this all together. Slow breathing keeps the nervous system regulated. Upright posture signals readiness without aggression. Eye contact held calmly, without intensity or avoidance, creates psychological connection. These are not tricks. They are consequences of discipline practiced daily. The biggest shift happens when you stop trying to be impressive. You stop performing. You stop checking reactions. You stop adjusting yourself to be liked. Instead, you stay with yourself. You remain consistent whether approval is present or not. This consistency is what women describe as presence, even if they can't explain it. When behavior aligns with appearance, attraction feels effortless. You don't chase. You don't convince. You don't prove. You simply show up as a man who knows himself and can hold his ground without noise. And once that happens, the glow up is no longer visual. It becomes undeniable. At the end of all transformation, there is one question that decides whether attraction fades or deepens over time. Can you maintain who you've become when no one is watching? This is where most glow-ups quietly die. Not because the man lacked potential, but because he treated looksmaxing as a phase instead of a standard. Real attraction is sustained by mindset, not momentum. The looksmaxing mindset is rooted in self-respect, not arrogance, not entitlement. Respect. A man who respects himself does not negotiate his standards for temporary pleasure. He does not abandon discipline when comfort appears. He understands that consistency is more attractive than intensity. Anyone can change fast. Very few can stay aligned when life becomes routine again. This mindset begins with understanding that attraction is not something you earn once. It is something you embody daily. The body needs maintenance. Style needs upkeep. Behavior needs awareness. When men arrive mentally, they stop refining. They relax too much. They compromise habits. And slowly, the presence that once felt strong becomes diluted. Women sense this before men do. Long-term attraction is built on predictability in values, not predictability in behavior. A man can be calm, grounded, and disciplined while still being spontaneous, playful, and surprising. The key is that his core does not shift. His reactions don't swing wildly. His identity remains stable. That stability creates emotional safety, and emotional safety deepens desire rather than killing it. Another part of this mindset is detachment from outcome. Men who rely on attraction for validation eventually become needy, even if they look strong on the surface. They monitor reactions, they fear loss, they over-adjust. The looksmaxed man does not chase approval, he allows resonance. If someone aligns, they stay. If not, he continues forward without resentment. That calm acceptance is power. Purpose also plays a critical role. A man without direction will eventually turn attraction into his main focus, and that pressure collapses polarity. When your life is structured around growth, mastery, and contribution, attraction becomes a byproduct, not the mission. Women feel this immediately. They sense when a man's life has gravity beyond them. That gravity pulls instead of pushes. Maintenance requires honesty. There will be moments when discipline slips, when training feels heavy, when grooming feels inconvenient, when standards feel optional. The mindset is not perfection, it's correction. You notice drift early and adjust without self-attack. This prevents collapse. Men who shame themselves quit. Men who self-correct continue. There is also humility in long-term attraction. You never assume you're done learning. You refine communication. You deepen emotional intelligence. You sharpen boundaries. You listen without losing frame. Growth keeps presence alive. Stagnation kills it quietly. Over time, something powerful happens. You stop thinking about attraction altogether. You live in alignment. People respond naturally. You don't manage impressions. You don't perform masculinity. You simply express it, and that expression feels calm, grounded, and unmistakable. This is the difference between a glow up that impresses for a moment and a transformation that reshapes your entire life. When discipline becomes identity and self-respect becomes non-negotiable, attraction stops being something you seek and starts being something you carry.